No, it's okay to get rejected. You look good. They don't feel like. All right.
It's when a nigga is cheap, I get rejected.
You right.
Yeah.
I'm cheap, ain't gonna lie.
I know. I follow you on Instagram. I be following your track record.
I spend no chicken.
Yeah. You ain't wrong. You light skinned. That's why I like light skinned. I like them black.
Everything free. I got here for free.
Black and chocolate.
Everything free. This free.
And African.
Everything free.
Jamaican. African. You Spanish niggas. Go ahead on. To the feminine side.
Okay.
What's the most you think a man would spend on you?
I mean, you know, these niggas broke nowadays. So I guess like $100 minimum.
Can I ask you a question real quick? So you see her right here, right? How much you spending? This is a bid. I'm gonna start at $10. $10. $10. That's the most you gonna spend?
I don't even know her like that. Why would I be going a bag on her? Hell no, we ain't doing that.
Okay.
Not doing that.
Why you even bring him into the fucking video?
Wait, listen. I guess.
I'm broke.
I'm mad broke.
First of all, he ain't even on that.
Too fucking much.
Okay,
For
cool.
Wendy's.
Let's bring it over here.
For her.
TYB is crazy. TYN is crazy. Take your is crazy. No, you gonna get him next. No. I'm gonna put him onto you next.
I don't want him, okay? If he don't want me, don't want him. That's it.
Women can't handle rejection. I've seen scenes where men dump or reject women. The next thing you'll hear is, he's gay, he's an asshole, he has a small dick. You see, the difference between the way men handle rejection and the way women handle it is that women have more social support for these kinds of negative situations. Men are told to deal with it. Any negative reaction from the man is seen as not handling rejection well. I had to keep my feelings to myself and suffer in silence in fear of ridicule from men and women. When I have rejected women, it is mostly by not even paying attention to them. I did not want to give them the wrong idea by looking at them and risk harassment accusations, or accidentally being nice to one and her thinking that I might be interested in her. The more I ignored many, the more they became hostile towards me. They would get older women to shame me, other men to harass me to try to get me to be more cooperative with the women. Male and female managers gave me ultimatums to scare me into obedience once they noticed I was avoiding female coworkers. I experienced shame, ridicule, slander, mockery, vandalism, theft, gaslighting, isolation, a lack of help, and worse. Some women would tear me down with insults. Some would observe me from a distance to see my emotional state and report it to the first or latter group. The latter group of women would love bomb me, trying to manipulate me into gentle compliance. If I continued to ignore them, they would all have the same facial expression of shock and sadness. A lot of women hate men who refuse to get into relationships. They cannot handle seeing a man reject all women. Men go through rejection their entire lives. They are literally trained to handle rejection. Rejection is something every man has to be familiar with when going out to find a partner. As a single man, it's something that hits you when you're a very young boy, and it keeps hitting you your entire life. Women don't generally experience rejection even remotely close to the way men experience it. So, obviously, after being hit by it many times more than women have, men get more familiar with it, and therefore, they learn to handle it better. A friend asked me a question. Why can't women take rejections and try to hurt the guy who rejects them? Well, it's because most women are narcissistic, spoiled brats who always want things their way. Society continually views women as victims and men as aggressors. No matter how wrong that is in many cases, when a guy gets blown out by a woman, he is expected to get over it almost instantly. Any sign of emotional discomfort or self-pity, and he will be told by friends, co-workers and family to hurry up and pull himself together. However, when rejection happens to a woman, an entirely different dynamic arises. Firstly, most women don't get directly or blatantly rejected in the same way that men do, who might walk over to a woman and ask her out in a pub. With women, it's much more subtle and less identifiable. Rejection to them might mean the guy they like stops paying them attention or stops walking home with them. It's not usually perceptible to most people, but women tend to take it hard. If she is a narcissist, she may decide to take covert revenge in a way that flies under most people's radar. This is what happened to a friend of mine. The woman he spurned mounted a months-long campaign against him at his workplace, trying to turn everyone against him and make him look bad. Women are often seen as the masters of the structure. It's quite amusing how some believe they hold all the cards and that we can never reject them. People often refer to them as the gatekeepers of sex, although that might not be entirely accurate. But let's not forget the beta males and toxic feminists who have played a role in shaping this perception. They've somehow convinced us that women are entitled to every good thing the world has to offer. Picture this. I'm minding my own business in a public space when suddenly a random 6 out of 10 chick comes up to me and declares her interest. Now, I politely decline, and what happens next? Apparently, I'm magically transformed into a gay man, a body shamer, and a misogynist all at once. A mysterious imaginary wall magically materializes when a woman faces rejection. Believe it or not, this wall was allegedly constructed by none other than the beta males themselves. Its sole purpose? To shield the fragile emotions of women from any potential harm. You see, these women have this unwavering belief that feeling bad about themselves is simply not in the cards for them. They are, in their minds, perfect beings who deserve nothing but the best at all times. But here's a fascinating part. If you happen to tell one of these women a little word called no, prepare for a show. Suddenly, she unleashes a storm of verbal attacks upon you, right there in public. It's almost as if rejecting them is a cardinal sin of the highest order. Now let's talk about us men for a moment. We are quite familiar with rejection. It's practically an everyday occurrence. But what do we do when faced with such adversity? We retreat, vanishing into thin air for a solid 6 months. We call it monk mode because, well, why not? During this self-imposed exile, we hit the gym, focus on our businesses, indulge in delicious cuisine, and strive for success in all aspects of life. And only then, if we so desire, do we dare re-enter the treacherous realm of dating, hoping to get laid. Now, here's the golden nugget of advice. Should a woman dare to approach you in a public space, heed my words and run. Yes, you heard me right. Run. Why risk losing everything you've worked so hard for in a mere 30-second conversation? After all, you're not even attracted to her in the first place, so why bother? Remember the wise words of the police, my friend. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law. So save yourself the trouble and steer clear. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers.